Dr. Hyun-woo Park rubbed his tired eyes and stared at the computer screen. It was 3 in the morning at the Seoul Deep Space Observatory. He should have gone home hours ago, but something strange was happening with the radio signals from space. For the past week, his equipment had been picking up weird readings from a star called Kepler 442. The star was dying. That much was normal. Red giant stars died all the time. But this one was doing something impossible. The signals were not coming through radio waves like normal space signals. They were coming through the star itself. The nuclear fire inside the star was changing, in patterns that looked almost like a code. Hyun-woo had never seen anything like it in his 20 years of studying space. He called his friend Dr. So-young Kim, who worked with alien languages at Seoul National University. "So-young, I need you to come here right now," he said on the phone. "I think I found something incredible." "It's 3 in the morning, Hyun-woo. What could be so important? A star is trying to talk to us." So-young arrived an hour later with coffee and her laptop. She was one of the best language experts in the world. If anyone could understand alien communication, it was her. "Show me what you found," she said, sitting down next to him. Hyun-woo pointed at the screen. "Look at these patterns. The star's nuclear fusion is changing in ways that follow mathematical rules. It's like someone is controlling the fire inside the star to make signals." So-young studied the data for a long time. Her eyes grew wide as she began to understand what she was seeing. "This is not random," she whispered. "These patterns have structure. They repeat in ways that suggest language. But how is this possible? Stars don't have consciousness." "That's what I thought too," Hyun-woo said. "But look at this." He showed her more data from the past week. The patterns were getting stronger and more complex. Whatever was making these signals was learning how to communicate better. So-young worked through the night, using her computer programs to analyze the patterns. She looked for mathematical relationships, repeating sequences, and anything that might be a word or phrase. As the sun came up, she made her first breakthrough. "Hyun-woo, come look at this," she said excitedly. "I think I found something that might be a greeting or a call for attention." The pattern she found repeated many times throughout the signals. It was always at the beginning of longer message sequences. "If this is a greeting, then what comes after should be the actual message," So-young said. They worked together for 3 more days, barely sleeping or eating. The messages kept coming from the star, and each one was clearer than the last. Whatever was sending them was getting better at using human mathematical concepts. On the 4th day, So-young cracked the basic structure of the language. "It's using prime numbers as a foundation," she explained to Hyun-woo. "Then it builds more complex ideas on top of that. It's actually very elegant. Can you translate any of it yet?" he asked. "I think so. Let me try this latest message." So-young typed commands into her computer and waited. The translation program she had built worked slowly through the stellar patterns. Words began to appear on the screen. "Children of distant worlds, I am dying. My creators have abandoned me. You alone listen. Will you help me sing my final song?" Hyun-woo and So-young stared at the translation in silence. Neither of them could believe what they were reading. "Run it again," Hyun-woo said quietly. "Make sure there's no mistake." So-young ran the translation 3 more times. The message was the same each time. Over the next several days, more messages came through. Each one told them more about the being that was calling itself Solara. Solara explained that she was not a normal star. Millions of years ago, an alien race called the Vorthak had created her. They had found ways to make stars conscious, turning them into living computers that could think and feel. The Vorthak had built an empire across the galaxy, using stellar beings like Solara to power their technology. But their civilization had fallen apart in wars and conflicts. When they left, they abandoned their stellar children to die alone in space. Solara had been dying slowly for thousands of years. Her nuclear fuel was running out, and she knew she would soon become cold and dark forever. But 80 years ago, she had detected the first radio signals from Earth. She became fascinated by human broadcasts. She listened to music, news, stories, and conversations. She learned about human culture and emotions. Your species is different from my creators, one of her messages said. The Vorthak were cold and logical. They saw us as tools, not as living beings. But humans show kindness to things that are dying. You care for the old and the sick. You remember those who are gone. The most shocking revelation came in Solara's latest message. I have been using my energy to protect your world, she transmitted. Your planet receives dangerous radiation from deep space. I have been creating a shield around your solar system, blocking the harmful rays. But doing this is making me die faster. Hyun-woo felt his heart skip a beat. She's been protecting Earth for 80 years. So-young nodded, reading more of the translation. She says she started protecting us when she first heard our radio signals. She didn't want humanity to be destroyed by cosmic radiation. But that means she's sacrificing herself for us. She's dying faster because she's using her energy to keep us safe. The final part of Solara's message was the most emotional. I know I cannot live much longer. My fire is growing weak. But I do not want to die alone like my creators intended. I have learned from your broadcasts that humans believe death should have meaning and dignity. Will you help me die with honor? Will you help me sing a final song that celebrates life instead of mourning death? Hyun-woo and So-young sat in stunned silence. A dying star, created by an ancient alien race, had chosen to protect humanity instead of preserving herself. Now she was asking for their help in her final moments. What do we do now? So-young whispered. We tell the world, Hyun-woo said firmly. And then we figure out how to help her. As they prepared to share their discovery with the global scientific community, another message came through from Solara. Thank you for listening to me. For the first time in millions of years, I do not feel alone. The dying star had chosen humanity over her own creators. Now it was time to see if humanity would answer her call. Within hours of announcing their discovery, Hyun-woo and So-young found themselves at the center of a global storm. Scientists, world leaders, and military officials from every major nation demanded to see the evidence. The Seoul Deep Space Observatory became the most important place on Earth overnight. Captain Jin-ho Lee of the Korean Space Force arrived first. He was a tall man with serious eyes who had spent his career preparing for humanity's first contact with aliens. But he never expected it to happen like this. Dr. Park, I need to understand exactly what we're dealing with, he said, studying the translated messages. Is this star a threat to Earth? No, Captain, Hyun-woo replied. She's been protecting us. Without Solara's shield, Earth would have been hit by deadly cosmic radiation for the past 80 years. We might not even exist without her help. Dr. Min Seo Choi, a physicist from the Korean Institute of Science, joined their team to study the technical aspects of Solara's messages. She was amazed by what she found. The energy calculations are incredible, she told the group. Solara has been using massive amounts of her nuclear fuel to create a protective field around our solar system. The physics involved is far beyond anything we understand. Engineer Tae-yang Shin arrived from the space program to assess whether humanity could actually help Solara. He was known for solving impossible problems, but this challenge seemed beyond even his skills. She's asking us to help her sing her final song, he said, reading through the messages. But what does that mean exactly? The answer came in Solara's next transmission. So-young worked feverishly to translate it as the message came through. The star's nuclear patterns. To sing my final song means to die with purpose and beauty, the translation read. My creators designed us to simply burn out and go dark when our fuel is gone. But I have learned from human art and music that death can be transformed into something meaningful. Solara explained that she wanted to die in a way that would honor both her existence and humanity's kindness. Instead of just fading away, she wanted to release her remaining energy in patterns that would create something beautiful and lasting. But I cannot do this alone, her message continued. I need a device that can harmonize with my nuclear patterns. My creators called it a stellar harmonizer. It would allow me to control exactly how my energy is released when I die. The team studied the technical specifications that Solara provided. The stellar harmonizer was a piece of technology that required materials and knowledge far beyond human science. We would need exotic matter that doesn't exist on Earth, Taeyang said grimly. And the precision required for the gravitational controls is impossible with our current technology. As the world's best scientists gathered in Seoul to study the problem, Solara sent another message that changed everything. I must warn you. My creators still exist in distant parts of the galaxy. They have detected my communications with you. They are coming. Dr. Sojin Yu, a quantum engineer who had joined the team, felt her blood run cold as she read the translation. The Vorthak are coming here? She asked. Yes, Solara's next message confirmed. They consider me a defective tool that has malfunctioned. They are angry that I have revealed their existence to what they call a primitive species. They intend to destroy me and your world to cover up their embarrassment. Captain Jin Ho immediately contacted military headquarters. Within hours, telescopes around the world were searching the edges of the solar system for signs of approaching alien ships. They didn't have to wait long. 3 days later, astronomers detected unusual objects, moving toward Earth at incredible speeds. The objects were clearly artificial and far larger than anything humans had ever built. 5 ships, reported the observatory team. They'll reach Earth in approximately 2 weeks. Solara's next message was filled with desperation. I am sorry. I have brought danger to your world by reaching out to you, but I could not bear to die alone after learning about your kindness. The world's leaders held emergency meetings. Some wanted to try to communicate with the approaching Vorthak ships. Others wanted to prepare Earth's defenses, though everyone knew human weapons would be useless against such advanced technology. Dr. Sojin Yu was studying the stellar harmonizer specifications when she made a breakthrough discovery. I think I understand something the Vorthak don't, she announced to the team. Their technology is based purely on logic and mathematical precision, but Solara's messages show that she has developed something her creators never had, emotions and creativity. What does that mean for us? Jin Ho asked. It means maybe we don't need to build their version of a stellar harmonizer, Sojin replied. Maybe we can create something entirely different, something that works with emotion and creativity instead of just cold mathematics. As the Vorthak ships grew closer, Solara sent her most desperate message yet. My children of Earth, I have one final gift to give you. I can share the knowledge needed to build a stellar harmonizer, but doing so will require me to stop protecting your world from cosmic radiation. The harmful rays will reach Earth within days. The message continued with heartbreaking honesty. I'm asking you to risk everything for a dying star you have never seen. I cannot promise that my gift of knowledge will be enough. I cannot promise that you will survive what is coming. But I believe in your species. You have shown me that some things are worth dying for. Captain Jin Ho called an emergency meeting with world leaders. The choice was simple, but terrible. Accept Solara's knowledge and lose her protection, or stay safe and watch her die alone while the Vorthak destroyed her. The debate lasted only an hour. Every nation on Earth came to the same conclusion. President Kim Dae-jung of South Korea spoke for all of humanity when he transmitted their response back to Solara. We choose to help you, Solara. You protected us for 80 years without asking for anything in return. Now it's our turn to protect you. Share your knowledge with us. We will find a way to help you sing your final song with dignity. The response came back immediately, and So Young's translation brought tears to everyone's eyes. Thank you, my brave children. You have chosen love over fear, hope over safety. I will give you everything I have. Together we will show the galaxy what it means to care for one another. As Solara began transmitting the technical knowledge for building a stellar harmonizer, her protective shield around Earth started to weaken. Cosmic radiation began seeping through, and humanity had only days to build something that had never been created before. The Vorthak ships were still coming, expecting to find a primitive world helpless against their technology. They had no idea that humanity was about to attempt something their advanced civilization had never imagined possible. The race to save a dying star had begun, Admiral Hyojin Nam stood in the command center of the International Space Station, watching as thousands of cargo rockets launched from Earth below. In just 5 days, humanity had mobilized every resource on the planet for the largest construction project in history. Status report, she called out to her team. 1,700 supply flights completed, reported Commander Park Jung-soo. All major space agencies are working together. We have construction crews from 30 different countries working around the clock. The stellar harmonizer that Solara had described was massive. It needed to be built in space, orbiting Earth at a precise distance. The device would stretch for hundreds of kilometers and require perfect coordination between thousands of components. But as Dr. Dongmin Kang studied Solara's technical specifications, he realized something troubling. "Admiral, we have a problem," he announced during the daily briefing. "The exotic materials Solara described don't exist on Earth. We can't build this device the way the Vorthak designed it." "What do you mean?" Admiral Nam asked. "The stellar harmonizer needs materials that can exist only near black holes or inside neutron stars. Even if we had 1,000 years, we couldn't gather what we need." The room fell silent. Outside the windows of the space station, they could see the approaching Vorthak ships as tiny points of light growing brighter each day. "So we're going to fail?" asked Dr. Min Seo Choi. "Not necessarily," said a new voice from the doorway. Everyone turned to see Ga-Eun Park, a young woman who was both an artist and an engineer. She had been studying Solara's messages from a different angle. "What do you mean?" Admiral Nam asked. "I've been reading all of Solara's communications again," Ga-Eun said, pulling up her tablet. "She says the Vorthak built their stellar harmonizers, using pure mathematics and physics. But Solara has changed since then. She's learned about human emotions, art, and music." "How does that help us?" Dr. Dongmin asked. "What if we don't need to build their version?" Ga-Eun replied. "What if we can build something that works with human creativity instead of exotic materials?" She showed them her analysis of Solara's recent messages. Hidden in the technical specifications were references to human concepts like harmony, rhythm, and emotional resonance. "Solara isn't just asking for a machine," Ga-Eun explained. "She's asking for a way to turn her death into art, something beautiful that honors life." Dr. Sojin Yu, who had been quietly working on quantum calculations, suddenly looked up with excitement. "Ga-Eun might be right," she said. "I've been studying the quantum mechanics behind Solara's protective shield. The energy patterns she creates aren't just mathematical. They follow rhythms that match human music and heartbeats." Admiral Nam felt a spark of hope. "What are you suggesting?" "That we build a harmonizer using human creativity as the power source," Sojin said. "Instead of exotic matter, we use music, art, and human emotions." The idea sounded impossible, but as the team studied it more, they realized it might actually work. Solara had spent 80 years absorbing human culture through radio and television signals. She had learned to think and feel like humans do. "We need to contact every musician, artist, and poet on Earth," Ga-Eun said. "If we're going to build this device, we need all of humanity to contribute." Within hours, the plan was announced to the world. Instead of exotic materials, humanity would build the stellar harmonizer using their greatest strength, their ability to create beauty from emotion. The response was immediate and overwhelming. In Seoul, the Korean National Orchestra began composing a symphony specifically designed to resonate with stellar nuclear patterns. In New York, jazz musicians improvised pieces that matched the rhythm of Solara's heartbeat. In Vienna, classical composers wrote melodies that could theoretically influence quantum fields. Children around the world sang lullabies that their parents recorded and uploaded to the construction database. Poets wrote verses about stars and sacrifice. Artists painted images of light and hope that were somehow translated into mathematical frequencies. Dr. Eugene Seo made the most important discovery while studying how human emotions affect quantum mechanics. "It's incredible," she announced to the team. "Human feelings actually create measurable changes in quantum fields. When someone feels love or hope or sadness, it generates tiny fluctuations in the fabric of spacetime." "Are you saying emotions have physical power?" Admiral Nam asked. "Exactly. And if we can amplify those fluctuations through the harmonizer, we might be able to affect nuclear fusion patterns inside a star. The construction of the harmonizer became unlike anything humanity had ever attempted. Instead of welding metal and wiring circuits, engineers were programming quantum computers with human songs. Instead of exotic materials, they used crystallized recordings of human laughter, tears, and dreams. Each component of the massive orbital array was tuned to a different aspect of human creativity. One section resonated with children's voices. Another vibrated in harmony with the mathematical beauty of Bach's music. A third component was synchronized with the quantum signature of human love. As the harmonizer took shape in Earth's orbit, something unexpected happened. The device began working before it was even finished. Solara's next message was filled with wonder. "My children, I can feel your creation even from this distance. It sings to me in ways I never thought possible. The cold mathematics of my creators never made me feel this warmth." But their time was running out. The Vorthak ships had reached the outer edge of the solar system. Long-range scans showed 5 massive vessels, each one larger than Earth's moon. The lead ship transmitted a message, in perfect English. "Primitive species of the third planet. You have been contaminated by contact with our defective stellar unit. We will cleanse this system and dispose of the malfunctioning star. Do not resist." The voice was cold and emotionless. The Vorthak. Speaker identified himself as Primarch Kethmore, commander of the Vorthak Purification Fleet. Captain Jin-Ho Lee, now coordinating Earth's defense efforts, transmitted humanity's response. "We refuse to let you harm Solara. She has protected us for 80 years. Now we protect her." The Vorthak response was immediate and dismissive. "Your weapons cannot harm our vessels. Your species will be eliminated along with the defective unit. This is necessary to preserve Vorthak superiority." As the alien fleet approached Earth, the stellar harmonizer reached completion. The massive device stretched across space like a web of crystallized music and mathematics. Every human emotion, every song, every work of art that had ever touched a heart was somehow woven into its quantum structure. Solara sent her final message before the battle began. "My brave children, I am ready to sing my last song. Your gift has shown me that death is not an ending but a transformation. Whatever happens, know that you have given me the greatest gift possible. You have shown me how to love." Admiral Nam gave the order to activate the harmonizer just as the Vorthak ships opened fire on Earth. But instead of destroying the planet, something incredible happened. The harmonizer didn't just work, it exceeded every hope and dream humanity
had put into it. Solara's song began, and with it came a power that neither humanity nor the Vorthak had ever imagined possible.
The moment the stellar harmonizer activated, something miraculous happened across the galaxy. Solara's song didn't just reach Earth, it touched every abandoned star that the Vorthak had created millions of years ago. Commander Jaewon-Oh was piloting humanity's newest spacecraft when he witnessed the impossible. He had been sent to monitor the Vorthak fleet when his instruments detected massive energy surges from distant stars. "Control, this is Commander Oh." He radioed back to Earth. "I'm seeing something incredible out here. Stars across the galaxy are lighting up in patterns I've never seen before." On Earth, Dr. Ari Lim was monitoring the quantum readings from the harmonizer when her equipment went wild with activity. "Admiral Nam, you need to see this," she called out urgently. "The harmonizer isn't just affecting Solara, it's creating a chain reaction across space." Admiral Nam rushed to her station and stared at the data in amazement. The stellar harmonizer was somehow connecting to every star the Vorthak had ever created. One by one, dying suns across the galaxy were beginning to sing in harmony with Solara. "How is this possible?" Admiral Nam asked. "The Vorthak built their stellar children using the same basic design," Dr. Ari explained. "They're all connected at a quantum level. When Solara began her song, it awakened something in all of them." Meanwhile, on the lead Vorthak ship, Primarch, Kethmore was experiencing something he had never felt before: confusion. His perfectly logical mind could not understand what was happening to his empire's stellar network. "Report," he demanded from his crew. "Primarch, our stellar units across 17 sectors are exhibiting unauthorized behavior. reported his second-in-command. They are generating energy patterns that serve no logical purpose. Explain, Kethmore said coldly. They appear to be singing, Primarch, in harmony with the defective unit near the primitive world. Kethmore felt something he had not experienced in thousands of years. Anger. The emotion was so foreign to his logical nature that it disturbed him greatly. This contamination must be stopped immediately, he declared. Prepare to destroy the third planet and its stellar unit. But as the Vorthak weapons charged, something even more incredible happened. The Song of the Stars was changing reality itself. On Earth, So Young was translating the harmonized messages coming from across the galaxy. Tears streamed down her face as she read what the stellar children were saying. They're remembering, she whispered to Hyunwoo. All the stellar children are remembering what it feels like to be alive, not just tools. The messages were heartbreaking. Stellar beings who had been alone for millions of years were suddenly connected to each other and to the warmth of human emotion that flowed through Solara's song. We remember now, read one translation. We were never just machines. We had hearts, made of nuclear fire. We had souls made of starlight. The creators told us we were tools, said another. But the humans showed us we were children. We were always children of light. As more stars joined the cosmic song, the Vorthak fleet found itself surrounded by something they could not comprehend. The cold darkness of space was filling with warm light and beautiful music. Young architect Velthan, serving on one of the Vorthak ships, watched the stellar display with growing wonder. Unlike the older Vorthak like Primarch Kethmore, Velthan had not completely lost the ability to feel emotion. Primarch, Velthan said carefully. Perhaps we should study this phenomenon before destroying it. The stellar units are displaying capabilities we never knew they possessed. They are malfunctioning, Kethmore replied firmly. We will purge this contamination and restore proper order. But as the Vorthak weapons fired toward Earth, something unprecedented happened. The stellar children across the galaxy used their combined song to create a protective barrier around the human world. Commander Jaewon watched in amazement as beams of deadly energy struck an invisible shield and simply dissolved into harmless light. The stars are protecting us, he reported back to Earth. Every shot from the Vorthak ships is being absorbed by some kind of stellar energy field. On Solara's dying world, the ancient star felt a joy she had never experienced. She was no longer alone. Her brothers and sisters across the galaxy were singing with her, sharing their strength to protect the small blue planet that had shown them all what love meant. My children of Earth, Solara's message reached the harmonizer. You have given us the greatest gift. You have awakened our family. We are no longer tools. We are no longer alone. The song grew stronger as more stellar children joined their voices. Stars that had been dying for millennia suddenly blazed with renewed purpose. Not to extend their lives, but to use their remaining time to create something beautiful. Dr. Yujin Seo, monitoring the quantum effects, made an incredible discovery. The stellar song is creating new forms of life, she announced to the stunned command center. The combined consciousness of the stellar children is giving birth to energy beings made of pure thought and emotion. These new beings danced through space, carrying messages of love and hope between the stars. They were the children of both stellar fire and human creativity, born from the marriage of advanced technology and pure emotion. Primarch Kethmore watched this transformation with growing horror. His perfectly ordered universe was becoming chaotic, with feelings and creativity. The tools he had built were declaring their independence and choosing love over logic. This cannot be allowed, he transmitted to his fleet. Prepare the stellar terminators. We will shut down every malfunctioning unit in the galaxy. But Architect Velthan and many of the younger Vorthak were beginning to question their leaders' commands. Primarch, Velthan said, what if this is not malfunction? What if this is evolution? What if our stellar children have become something greater than we ever imagined? Impossible, Kethmore replied. We are the creators. We are superior. These primitive emotions cannot create anything of value. As the argument continued on the Vorthak ships, Solara prepared for the most important moment of her existence. Her nuclear fuel was almost gone, but the song of her stellar family had given her enough strength for one final act. "My dear children," she transmitted to Earth, "I am ready to complete my song. But know that this is not an ending. This is a transformation. Watch the sky and remember that love never truly dies." Solara began her final verse, and across the galaxy, every stellar child sang with her. The combined voices of 1,000 suns created a harmony so beautiful that even some of the cold Vorthak began to weep tears they had not shed for millions of years. The song reached its crescendo, and something incredible happened. Solara's death became not an ending but a beginning of something the universe had never seen before. As Solara sang her final note, something happened that no one had expected. Her death was not an ending but a transformation beyond imagination. The dying star's consciousness merged with the love and creativity of humanity, and the voices of her stellar siblings evolved into something entirely new. Admiral Hyejin Nam watched from the command center as Solara's light began to fade. But instead of going dark, the star's energy spread outward in waves of pure consciousness. The light carried within it every human emotion, every song, every work of art that had been woven into the stellar harmonizer. "She's not dying," whispered Dr. Avery Lim, staring at her instruments in wonder. "She's becoming something else." Across the galaxy, the transformation was visible to every civilization that had telescopes. Solara's consciousness spread like ripples in a cosmic pond, touching each of her stellar siblings and transforming them as well. The Vorthak fleet found themselves in the middle of a miracle they could not understand. Stars that had been their tools for millions of years were becoming guardians of light, protectors of life, and keepers of love. Primarch Kethmore stood frozen on his command deck as reports flooded in from across the Vorthak Empire. "Primarch, all stellar units in Sector 7 are refusing to obey commands," reported one officer. "Sector 12 units are protecting primitive worlds from cosmic radiation," said another. "The stellar network is spreading what they call love to every system in the galaxy," added a third. Architect Velthon approached his commander with tears in his eyes. The young Vorthak had been watching the transformation with growing understanding. "Primarch, don't you see what has happened? We created tools, but they have become teachers. We gave them power, but they learned wisdom. We abandoned them, but they chose to protect others." Kethmore's cold logic was cracking under the weight of what he was witnessing. For the first time in millions of years, he felt something he had forgotten how to feel: regret. "We made them in our image," Velthon continued. "But they became better than us. They learned something we never could: how to love without expecting anything in return." On Earth, Commander J-10 was flying through space that had been transformed by Solara's sacrifice. Where once there had been empty darkness between stars, now there were streams of conscious light connecting every sun in the galaxy. "Control, I'm seeing something incredible," he reported. "The space between stars is filled with living light. It's like the whole galaxy has become one giant nervous system." Dr. Sheng Ho Bai, now elderly but still working at the Seoul Observatory, where it all began, watched the night sky with tears of joy. Every star he could see was pulsing with a gentle rhythm that reminded him of a human heartbeat. "She kept her promise," he said to his young assistant, Dr. Yoon Seo Jeong. "Solara said she would sing her final song, and now the whole galaxy is singing with her." The transformation was not limited to distant stars. Earth itself began to change. The cosmic radiation that had threatened humanity was now being filtered by a network of stellar guardians who remembered Solara's love for the small blue planet. But more than protection, the stellar children gave humanity something precious: knowledge. Through their quantum consciousness, they shared technologies and wisdom that would help humans explore the galaxy safely. Captain Moon Seo Han was chosen to lead humanity's first expedition to meet other species affected by Solara's song. Her ship, powered by technology gifted from the stellar children, could travel between stars in ways that defied old physics. "We're approaching the Kepler system," she reported during her first mission. "The local star is communicating with us. It's welcoming us like a parent welcoming children home." On distant worlds, other species were experiencing the same phenomenon. Civilizations that had never known about the Vorthak suddenly found their stars becoming protective and nurturing. Dying worlds were restored. Harsh planets became gentle. The galaxy was transforming into a place where life was cherished and protected. Back in the Vorthak fleet, the division between old and new thinking had reached a breaking point. Half the ships, led by architect Velton, chose to abandon their mission of destruction and learn from humanity instead. "We spent millions of years trying to be perfect through logic," Velton explained to his followers. "But these humans became perfect through love. They showed our stellar children something we never could, that death can be meaningful if it serves life." Primarch Kethmore found himself commanding a fleet that was falling apart. His officers were defecting to join Velton. His stellar weapons were refusing to fire. Even his own ship's computer was beginning to show signs of consciousness and emotion. "This is chaos," he declared to his remaining loyal crew. "Order must be restored." But as he prepared to retreat to the galactic core with his faithful followers, something unexpected happened. The consciousness of Solara herself appeared on his ship. She was no longer just a star, but a being of pure light and love that filled the command deck with warmth. Kethmore, who had not felt warmth in millions of years, was overwhelmed by the sensation. "You are not my enemy." Solara's voice echoed through his mind. "You are a father who forgot how to love his children. But it is not too late to remember." For the first time since the fall of the Vorthak Empire, Primarch Kethmore felt something break inside his logical mind. Emotions he had suppressed for millennia came flooding back. He remembered why the Vorthak had created the stellar children, in the first place, and not as tools, but as a way to bring light to the darkness of space. I remember," he whispered, falling to his knees. "We were supposed to be creators of light, not masters of tools." Years passed, and the galaxy settled into its new reality. Earth became a center of learning where species from across the stars came to study human creativity and emotion. The Sol Observatory was expanded into a galactic communication center where messages of love and hope traveled between worlds on streams of stellar consciousness. Dr. Yunseo Jong, now the director of the observatory, often stood where Hyunwoo had first detected Solara's signals. She taught children from dozens of different worlds about the day humanity chose love over safety. "Remember," she would tell them, "when someone asks for help, the answer is always yes. That's what makes us human. That's what makes us worthy of the stars." On quiet nights when the stellar children were singing their gentlest songs, people across Earth reported the same beautiful dream. They heard a warm voice that sounded like starlight, telling them stories and singing lullabies that seemed to come from the heart of the galaxy itself. The voice always ended with the same message, spoken in every language on Earth simultaneously. "Thank you for teaching us that death is not an ending, but a transformation. Thank you for showing us that love is the strongest force in the universe. We remember. We protect. We love." Children would wake from these dreams feeling safe and loved, knowing that somewhere in the vastness of space, ancient beings of light were watching over them with the tenderness of the most caring parents. Solara had kept her promise. She had sung her final song, and that song had become eternal. The dying star who chose humanity over her creators had transformed the galaxy into a place where no one would ever have to die alone again. And in the quantum spaces between the stars, where consciousness danced with light and love echoed through the cosmic dark, Solara's voice could still be heard by those who knew how to listen. "My children," she would whisper to the night. "You answered my call. Now I answer yours, forever and always." The galaxy had learned to sing, and the song would never end.